Oh, welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. What a show. What an NFL Sunday. Holy moly. Baltimore, Dallas, Detroit, none of them could win. Bloodbath in Circa Survivor. Bloodbath in the Circa Millions. We're going to discuss that. We're also going to take a look at the Michigan State-Boston College game. We're going to delve deep into tonight's Philadelphia-Atlanta game. We got a couple of baseball bets along the way. Dave Mason, a bookmaker from BetOnline, joining us. Teddy 6Bs. Whoa! Let's go! It's betting time. How are you, Teddy?
I'm doing all right, Prez. Exciting weekend in pro football and college football action. We'll break it all down on today's show. And, of course, my big game breakdown. We're going to talk a little LSU, UCLA, two teams that have been point spread disasters in early season play. One of them is going to get a cover on Saturday. I'll tell you who that's going to be in big game breakdown. But let's get it started. Lawrence, who do we got first?
Yeah, bro. Listen, dude, before we bring the great, the wonderful Brian Leonard in, one of my favorite guests, Brian Power after that, wanted to balance the show. You get it? You get the joke? Anyway, dude, Carmine wakes up this morning, sends us a fascinating thing that happened at the Circa. I wanted to start with that right off the bat. The 9 most popular picks at the Circa Millions, none of them covered. 0-9.
Yeah, the top 5. The top. That's 0-5 the first week, and then 0-4 this week, right? With the top 5 consensus. That's what he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. So it shows that the first couple of weeks of the season, the public hasn't been winning, and I'm pretty sure that any bookmaker that we'll talk to will agree with that.
Yeah, and if you watched Wager Talk last call yesterday, Joe Ranieri and I ran down where the wise guys were betting, and I think they might have made a fair chunk of dough. Let's bring Brian Leonard in. Brian, how's your NFL season going, you sexy devil?
It's not going well. Hadn't done that well in cut. The cat doesn't say a word.
Put her on your lap. Put her on your lap at this point, Bri. Get her. Let's see what your cat looks like.
Siamese cat. What can you do?
Okay, Brian.
He's loud.
Brian, it doesn't surprise me that you got pussy hanging around with you, bro. Does not surprise one bit.
It's the only one that can get near me. I do want to point out, you talked about the college basketball season. Teddy and I, this will mean more to Teddy and I than it will to you because you're Canadian, but UNLV, for the first time, I believe, ever, is in the top 25. Is that correct? They're number 25 right now, Teddy. Can you back me up on that?
Ever? I have no idea ever. I know that since like August or July, I think I started working on my college football in July. And the first time I went through UNLV, I'm like, this is the best UNLV team I've seen in my 27 years in Vegas. And I wrote that, and I had UNLV 1, and I had them this past week. And I'm still not convinced the markets have caught up with them.
Yeah, they were good under Robinson, but they haven't been good since. And I don't know if they were in the top 25 for Robinson. But it's big for out here in Las Vegas. I mean, I moved out here in 97, same as you, Teddy. And that was right after the basketball team and Coach Tark did so well. We didn't even get to see that. So this is kind of exciting out here. And they get to play in the same stadium as the Raiders. So I might have to go out in there and catch me a UNLV football game for the first time in probably a decade.
Well, let's get into some football, if you will, college football. Michigan State plus 6.5. They're going in to Boston. They're playing a BC. Total here is 45.5. How do you suggest we bet this game?
You know, I was expecting this line to come out closer to the 4-point range, which is why I'm giving it out now instead of waiting on the 7. If we get the 7. If you're not in a hurry to bet it, obviously the game's on Saturday, so we got plenty of time here. Keep in mind, try to shoot for that 7. Right now, 6.5 across the board. No hurry to bet it. So I'll gladly take this number for what I think is going to be a far closer to a coin flip game, in our opinion. Michigan State enters play at 3-0, and they have 2 top 10 teams in Ohio State and Oregon on deck. Michigan State has not been very good for a few years now, And I think it's more important for them to get this victory right now than it is for any type of look ahead to Oregon State and Oregon, because I don't think they're going to be competitive against those two teams. They are coming off a 40-0 victory over Prairie View, so this is a good spot for them. Boston College had to battle a very good Missouri team on the road, played very well there, which is why this line has gone up a little bit. So while the Spartans offense hasn't blown anybody away, this defense is still putting up some pretty solid numbers. Through 3 games, they've held the opposition to 2.24 yards per carry and a 118.72 passer rating. Now, they will be going up against the best quarterback they've faced thus far in this one, but I think their defense will keep this in line. The total is about 46, and they've already won at Maryland. And we think Maryland is slightly better than the Eagles, so that makes sense there. So they've gone on Maryland and already won. I think this is going to be a close game. BC has looked very good under Tom O'Brien, but, here's a late hire, and he couldn't take full advantage of the transfer portal. So most of these guys were on the team last year. Clemson does that every year, so we'll have to see how that works. But after the season-opening victory over Florida State, we thought Boston College, maybe they're really good. Well, they are better. They are a pretty good football team, but that win over Florida State now doesn't look nearly as impressive. Florida State's still looking to taste their first victory of the season. And last week, as we mentioned, Boston College traveled to Missouri and gave them a good game. But the Tigers entered that contest 2-0 on the season, and they beat 2 nobodies 89-0. So either they were not prepared for Boston College, or they went in overconfident in that game, and they clearly overlooked BC in my regard. To me, this is just too many points to lay, what I expect to be a low-scoring contest. Hopefully, we'll catch the 7 here. I know Boston College has looked better, but until they play a team that's prepared for them and knows that they're in for a game like Michigan State will here, I will gladly take the points. And one final note about the Big Ten: either teams have either been great or they've been terrible, and there's been no in between so far in that conference. We'll have to see how it works out. But overall, I'm a little bit disappointed in the Big Ten so far. But it's very early in the season, so we'll see if they can turn it around here. Michigan State doing that right here against Boston College.
So, Brian, a couple things to point out. First, there are a couple of 7s that just popped up within the last few minutes here in Las Vegas. There's one at South Point. There's one at Westgate. I don't know the broader markets are moving there, but if you want a +7 and you live in Sin City or the state of Nevada, you can get one right now. And, of course, at any of the states where you can get Superbook Westgate numbers, you can get a 7 right now and put that in your pocket. I'm with you conceptually on Michigan State. I want to be betting on Michigan State very much, especially as an underdog. But is BC a team you're comfortable? Clearly you are. BC's done nothing but overachieve and exceed expectations so far. Can we really step in front of this team? Talk to me about the Boston College piece of the equation.
Well, that's the problem you have here. It's a BC team that I believe I played against Florida State in week 1. And so I like this BC team. I just think right now they're getting a little bit farther ahead of where I think they should be. It's a team, and I like the coach. He's always been a great offensive coordinator. I like the BC offense. I think right now, if I took a look at my preseason rankings, and I had basically Boston College maybe 1 spot better than Michigan State. So to make this a 7-point spread here in what probably should be more of a 3 or 4, based on the preseason, neither one of these teams has really pulled off a victory that has been overly impressive so far. So I think I always keep in mind what the line should have been, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't think Michigan State has done anything to make them any lesser of a team. So here I'm fading Boston College a little bit because I just think they're over their skates a little bit here, at least from a line standpoint.
Brian Leonard joining us, everyone. Brian Power still to come. Dave Mason as well. Teddy 6B's right around the corner. Almost 200 of you watching the show live right now. If you don't mind taking a second and just hitting that thumbs up button, it would be so greatly appreciated. We're also picking up about 1,000 new subscribers a week. So shout out to all of you guys who tell your friends about the show. And I know a lot of you do, because people tell us that. It's so greatly appreciated. I cannot thank you enough. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure to do so. We are 100% going to tackle the Monday Night Football game tonight between the Eagles and the Falcons. Stay with us for that. We cannot forget baseball. Brian has been outstanding in baseball, and not this year, every year. Brian, I've always known you as an exceptional baseball bettor. You've got a bet for us tonight on Philly and Milwaukee. How do we bet that game, and what the hell makes you so good at the sport?
I don't know what it is. It's I started off as an NBA handicapper, and that was my top. Now baseball and hockey are my two top sports, and I think it's because you're just playing the game to win. You're not playing a point spread, and it's worked out very well for us. And plus, I like playing underdogs, and you're getting nice plus prices. I have to admit, I unintentionally stole this from Brian Power. He was going to speak about this game, so I do want to apologize to Brian before he gets on here. I didn't even notice it, and I'm sorry about that. But, you get Philadelphia going against Milwaukee here. Ranger Suarez having a breakout season for the Phillies. He enters play with a 3.05 ERA, 1.13 whip. Expected ERA backs that up at 3.38. He ranks in the 90th percentile or better in average exit velocity, barrel percentage, and ground ball rate. So he's able to keep the opposition off balance and makes them hit the ball on the ground. A really nice combination. On the road, he's been even better. Pitching in Philadelphia, that's a tough pitcher's ballpark. It's a good hitting ballpark. We've seen Philadelphia's offense go crazy there. But on the road, he's pitched much better. On the road, 2.60 ERA, 1.00 whip. He's got a 72-16 strikeout to walk ratio. And this is also the first time he's faced the Brewers, and that gives an advantage to the pitcher. It's also Savali's first time he faces a golf against Philadelphia this season too, but I'm not nearly as enamored with Aaron Savali as I am with Ranger Suarez. Aaron Savali is only better than league average in one category. His walk rate is in the 56th percentile. Every other advanced stat shows Savali should be faded. He's in the 3rd percentile in extension, which means the batter has more time to take a look at his pitches because he's farther away from the plate when he lets go of the ball. And he's in the 13th percentile in ground ball rate, which is not good because you need to get you don't want to be a fly ball pitcher, especially against a good hitting team like Philadelphia. He's in the 25th percentile in whip percentage, so he's not even able to get people to swing and miss at a good rate. So this year his traditional stat numbers show a 4.57 ERA, 1.32 whip. And since coming over to Milwaukee, this is the second team he's been on this year, third team in 2 years, he's allowed 25 earned runs in 58.2 innings. So he has not pitched any better in Milwaukee than he did in Tampa Bay earlier or back when he was in Cleveland. These are two of the best hitting teams in baseball. I think either team could go off against any pitching staff. But the Phillies are playing better ball right now. They've won 8 out of 10 games as of late. And I think they're the deeper of these two teams offensively. First 5 play would also be a good choice in this one because I really do like the Milwaukee bullpen, the back of the bullpen. But Philadelphia has a lot of good arms in the back of their bullpen also. So I'm going to use Philadelphia here, but I would have no problem if they wanted to play the first 5 and take advantage of this starting pitcher advantage for Suarez over Savali.
Brian says, look at the Phillies at a slightly worse than pick 'em price. You have to lay minus 110, minus 115 for Philadelphia as short road favorites in Milwaukee tonight. Brian, you said your NFL season hasn't gotten off to the start you wanted to. That doesn't mean that you're not winning in other sports. Talk about what you have going today at WagerTalk.com.
Yeah, right now it's still early. I don't have anything up for today in baseball. All the games are on the evening card, and it is a limited card as it always is on Monday. But, it was talked about earlier with hockey. We've got a special right now, special going on. They just put out today. It's an early bird special. If anybody's looking for the NBA, and we've got a lot of great NBA handicappers, including yourself, Teddy, as well as hockey.
And the Prez.
Yes, great situations right now to get those numbers early, get all of it for the entire season. great numbers, and I'm sure you'll put that ad up there in a minute. But yeah, this is a great time to do it. Prez, you've been so good in some of these sports. I don't know, every year you find one or two that you're really
super simple, Brian. NHL,
Yep.
NBA, college basketball. I have been unreal in all three, and especially in NBA. But Teddy's NBA for the last 20 years has been like magnificent.
No,
yes,
not 20 years, but the last 5 years have been very good.
Okay, Brian, give out that special.
We're old. We don't remember past 5 years anyway.
Oh, somebody called Toth on me. Priest Holmes called Toth on me. Okay. Bri, we done?
I think I'm done.
I love you, Bri.
All right, guys. Good luck.
Thank you, my friend. Teddy covers. Yeah, that NBA special, the NHL special. Me and you are going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. Came up today, but it is $595 for the entire season for each one of those sports. Okay, lots to go through still. Brian Power, Dave Mason coming up. Your big game breakdown, your 6Bs. Real quick, somebody asked how I did this weekend, and I'll go through that, and then you'll tell us about you. Sunday was okay, 3-3. I won my big play, so whatever, broke even. Really, it was the teasers that did me in. Dallas and Detroit let me down. Baltimore, blah blah blah. But I'll take 3-3. It just means the run hasn't come. And I'm okay with where I'm at in NFL right now. I'm down slightly for my clients, but man, we're only 2 weeks in. College football was an unmitigated disaster. I had a great college football run coming into Saturday. Horrible Saturday. I had a 5% play on Mississippi State. Might have been the single worst misread of my betting life. It happens. And I'm sorry to all the people who played me and played that play. It was terrible. I looked like a moron. It was humbling and embarrassing. But I move on. These things happen. And I remember Teddy talking about this last year. I think he had a play that was, 20 points in NBA wrong. This shit happens. And I'm sorry, guys. Lots of love. It really affects me when I lose. Teddy.
Let's talk bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. A little recap of what just happened this past weekend. And yeah, we had some beats. How about West Virginia Pitt? Mountaineers, they're minus 1.5. They're up 10 with 4 minutes left. How does it go? Touchdown, punt, touchdown, stopped on downs. That's a hell of a lot for the last 4 minutes for Pitt bettors. ATS or money line, no fun in that game for West Virginia bettors. UNLV Kansas, how about that first half total of 29.5? All right, it's 16-7. The first half's been a defensive slugfest. And you know what happens? There's one play left. They're 27 yards out. Do they kick the field goal? No. They go for the touchdown. And they make it. Extra point is good. They get to 30 at the break. Under 29.5. No good. The 27-yard touchdown pass. A killer for first half under bettors. UNLV Kansas. How about Sunday Night Football? The Texans are up 9 in the fourth quarter. They got first and goal at the Bears' 3-yard line. And they fumble on first down. The Bears go for a long field goal drive. Houston minus 6.5. They win by 6. That was an ouchie if you had the Texans. Ravens money line. Hell, I thought Baltimore was going to cover. They were up 10 in the fourth. And then Max Crosby took over, and the Raiders moved the ball up and down the field. Devontae Adams went nuts. Raiders rallied to win outright. Scored the last 3 drives against a quality defense. Ravens money line bettors. You had that in your parlay. Not amused with that finish. And, of course, we got to talk about the Giants. They were plus 1.5 at Washington. The kicker got hurt in warm-ups. The backup was the punter. He missed the first extra point, and then the Giants said, no more extra points. They go for 2, missed that one. They go for 2, missed the next one. And for those of you adding at home, that's 3 extra points they should have had but didn't get. And, of course, they lost on a field goal with no time remaining by exactly 3. Tough beat for Giants backers. When it comes to bad bets, let's see. On Saturday, they bet Wisconsin and over before kickoff. Finished Alabama. They bet Wisconsin and under before kickoff. Finished Alabama on over, 42-10. They bet Tulsa against Oklahoma State. The Cowboys led 45-0 in that game before stepping off the gas. Tulsa was the wrong side. Florida State got bet up, -5 up to -7 against Memphis. The Tigers won outright in the paycheck games. By the way, the Seminoles cashed their under-season win bets by week 3. If you had a Florida State underbet, it'll never get easier than cashing it by the second week of September. They bet Purdue again and again. Notre Dame opened as high as -16. They closed -7. Purdue won 66-7. The game wasn't that close. Notre Dame won 66-7. It wasn't that close. All the Purdue money was bad bets. The wise guys pounded Carolina yesterday. Well, they got what they deserved. They pounded the Titans, too. The Jets scored a touchdown, not a field goal in the final drive to win by 7, not 3. And it was all Tennessee mistakes again, just like against the Bears. Nonetheless, wise guys lost with Carolina and Tennessee yesterday. And the public bet up the Lions. You know, they were 5.5 at the opener, as high as 8 at the close. Lions won the box score, but they lost the final score, 20-16 final, all those bad bets. Bad for books. Look, the books had a pretty good weekend. We'll find out more in just a few minutes, but Oregon was a wise guy special, -14 up to -18.5. They won 49-14. Baylor took all the money against Air Force, blew them out 31-3. Illinois from -18 to -20 against Central Michigan. They won by exactly 21. All the money that pushed the line up won. All the buyback pushed. That was a bad result for the house as well. The Saints were a popular choice yesterday. The wise guys took out all the 7s. They blew out Dallas and Dallas. And, of course, the wise guys loved them some Vikings yesterday as well. The 49ers were a wrong side, and that game was not great for the books, with Minnesota taking the money in that one. There you have it, Prez. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Back to you, my friend.
Teddy covers. I love that segment. Just wanted to add one thing real quick on the Giants game. And I had no action on this game, so there's no sour grapes here. Not only did they miss all of that, but they also could have kicked a game-winning field goal at the end with a couple of minutes left in the game and ended up going for it on 4th and 4. So really not having their kicker was horrible. But we did see some life from their offense, and maybe Daniel Jones is getting there. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see. I want to talk NFL, bro. Honestly,
I know, but life from an offense means that the other defense isn't very good. What I focused on, now that we have 2 weeks in the books, everyone's focusing on offenses. I'm looking at defenses. What defense gets stops? Can't? Washington's defense can't get stops. So let's tap the brakes on Daniel Jones being good.
You mentioned Baltimore's D, a good D, is it? I mean, they lost a lot of key defense players, whatever the hell the words are. I'm tired today, bro.
Let's see what Brian Power thinks.
Nah, let's hold Brian Power off for a sec. No, get rid of him. Guys, I do want to tell you all quick, we had some awesome people, awesome records yesterday. Shout out to Ben Burns, 4-0 Sunday. Jeff Michaels, 3-0 Sunday. Marco kicked ass yesterday. Won his 5% on Natty, went 4-1. Dolan swept the board, 3-0. Ralph Michaels, 3-1. And now we will bring Brian Power in. A 3-0 day, big man. What up, Bangs? Yes.
Commanders,
you sound amazing. What?
Oh.
Go ahead, Bangs Power.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're fine.
Can you hear me? Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, outstanding. Yes, well, the Commanders were my best bet, so it was funny to hear you guys talk about that. Teddy, when the Steelers kick 6 field goals and win a game, they're lucky. But when the Commanders kick 7 field goals and they win, we say, good job, gang. That was definitely a lucky break for yours truly. I was kind of rolling my eyes when that opening kick, kick got called back. I said, oh, boy, that we probably needed that one. But it turned out that was the play of the game because the kicker got hurt.
Brian Power, Carmine had a 5% on that play. He's still trying to calm down. But, it took a while. But, hey, who cares how it gets there, baby? We got a Monday night football game going tonight. We have seen the total bet down a bit. As well, there's money coming in on the Falcons. It's now plus 5.5. They're playing the Eagles, who have lost A.J. Brown for the night, and I think that's a big deal. I mean, he's their field stretcher, opens up lanes for Barkley, opens up the slot. Big miss. I'm sure that's factored in. How are you betting this game?
Well, I'm going to take the Falcons. I know the numbers come down. It's, you could have got it a few days ago at a better number, but look, let's break down this game now. Okay. It was not a good offensive showing from the Falcons. I talked about the game a little bit a few minutes ago. They didn't give up a touchdown against the Steelers, but they lose 18-10. Kirk Cousins, he's 36. He's coming off ACL surgery, so maybe we shouldn't have been shocked that it was a poor offensive showing by Atlanta. There's some things I did not like schematically, how they were running the offense in that game, but I am banking on Atlanta being better offensively against an Eagles pass defense that I still think is suspect, guys. Philly manages to win week 1 in Brazil against the Packers, but Jordan Love, he throws for 260 yards despite only a 50% completion rate. Cousins is a guy more accurate than Love. Packers put up 29 on this Eagles defense in what ended up being a 5-point game. I'm going to take that final margin here, obviously. And now Atlanta, their offensive effort, okay, doesn't give you maybe a ton to be encouraged about from week 1. But I did like what I saw defensively, Prez. They keep Pittsburgh out of the end zone again, like I said. And 4 of the 6 Steelers field goal drives in that game were 9 or more plays and 31 or fewer yards. What does that tell you? Field position was absolutely huge there. So I think hopefully the field position won't be tilted so far against them. Now slowing Jalen Hurts and the Eagles down is a lot harder than slowing Justin Fields and the Steelers down. But the task got a little bit easier, as you mentioned, Prez, with A.J. Brown being out. Even with him on the field last week, Hurts threw 2 picks. Eagles have had a couple extra days to prepare, but they had to come back from Brazil. They are also 0-7 against the number their last 7 times as a home favorite of 4 and more. Remember down the stretch last year, they were a terrible bet. They failed to cover their last 7 games. And worth noting, something I thought was pretty interesting when I looked at the results yesterday, and this also includes the Thursday game, Buffalo-Miami. There have been 6 teams so far in week 2 that were home favorites in week 1 and then moved to road favorites this past week. All 6 of those teams covered, 5 of them won outright. That is the situation Atlanta is in tonight. I will take the points with the Dirty Birds, much to the consternation of my good friend Dan Alexander.
Right. We're both going to ask follow-ups because this is, a standalone game, Monday Night Football. Look, I'm curious here at +5.5 with Atlanta. You like them, and you mentioned Atlanta's defense last week looked good. I thought they did not look good. Time of possession last week was close to 36 minutes for Pittsburgh. They ran the ball 41 times for 137 yards. They literally moved the ball up and down the field. Now, I understand that they did not convert in the red zone. That's more Pittsburgh than it is Atlanta's great defense. With Barkley and Hurts and this Philly offense, I don't think they're going to have as big a problem converting in the red zone. My question to you is, with you liking the dog, are you seeing a low-scoring game for the dog to cover, or is Atlanta going to be able to keep pace with Philly and it be a high-scoring game?
I actually think keep pace either way, Prez, to be honest with you. The Eagles' defense, like I said, suspect. The Jordan Love, he only completed 50% of his passes, and he still threw for a lot of yards. Now, can Kirk Cousins, coming off the injury, stretch the field in the same way? We shall see. He didn't last week. Again, he did not play in the preseason. Quarterbacks who didn't play in the preseason generally struggled in week 1. But now, he's had some time to get his footing under him. I think we're going to see a better Kirk Cousins. Yes, the narrative on Kirk Cousins is he always stinks on Monday night, and the numbers do bear that out. But it is a new season with a new team, and I just think that these teams are a little bit closer than many think.
So you mentioned Cousins right there. We have to talk about primetime Cousins. All right. Clearly. And is that so? Let me ask you this. Is primetime Cousins random?
Yeah.
Or is there some meaning to that?
I would have to. I obviously do not have every result in front of me right now. Sorry about that. But I mean, you would think prime time, he's probably playing a lot of good teams, right? And you look back at Cousins' career, he's probably been the underdog more often than not in those primetime games. He is here, obviously. I think it's a little of both. There's some randomness, and there's probably the fact that he's been going up against better teams. Now, the Eagles, yeah, I have them power rated as a better team than Atlanta, no doubt about it. But I don't think they're 5.5 points better than the Falcons, I guess, is the way I'm looking at this one.
Right, and I love that answer. I recently watched Quarterback, in which Cousins was one of the highlighted quarterbacks, and he actually spoke about his primetime record. He's fully aware of it. He obviously wants to fix it. But one of the things he himself pointed out was, hey, guys, we're playing really good teams every Monday night. We're dogs almost every one of those games. So, I don't think Cousins is going to get rid of that tonight. Maybe the Falcons cover 5.5. I don't think they win this game, though. Brian, let's go to some baseball real quick. And Teddy, there'll be no follow-up here. D-backs against the Rockies. Where are you going, brother?
Yeah, I'll keep this one pretty simple. Look, we've got the best offense in baseball. The Arizona Diamondbacks going to the most hitter-friendly ballpark in all of baseball, Coors Field. Colorado, anyone that's followed this franchise for any length of time understands how many more runs they score at home than on the road. They're, I believe, number 2. Yes, they are number 2 in runs per game scored at home. Yet the only team that scores more at home is Arizona, who is also number 1 on the road in scoring. So the Diamondbacks offense, wherever they're at, they're putting runs on the board. This to me, 11.5. It's a big number, Teddy, but 12 runs is not asking for much because Colorado averages 5 at home. If Colorado gets to their average, Arizona should get to 7. I think you look at the 2 starting pitchers here. Senzatella, he's making his first big league start since May of last year. That's always a fade spot for me. And the Rockies, how's their bullpen doing? Not good. Worst ERA in all of baseball. Merrill Kelly's the starter for Arizona tonight, guys. 6.26 ERA. His last 5 starts. So I like the over in this game. I'll keep it pretty simple.
Over at Coors Field in Colorado. Find an 11. There are 11.5s out there, but enough 11s to release it at that number, to recommend it at that number. And you certainly don't want to lay that extra hook if you don't have to. That's why we always talk about shopping around and getting a push at 11 instead of losing by a half run at 11, et cetera, et cetera. Brian, what do you have to promote coming off your strong NFL Sunday?
Yeah, it was the great 3-0 sweep. Thanks for pointing that out, guys. Been a great start overall to football. 14-7 NFL and college combined. That is 67%. I gave you Monday Night Football play. It is a 3% play on the Atlanta Falcons. You can get that as well as my lone Major League Baseball play for Monday right now, WT.buzz/BP.
There we go. Love having Brian Power on, Teddy. Somebody just called us 2 old ladies, but they did say we love each other. I love that song by The Dead. They love each other. Okay, bro, time for your big game breakdown. Let's hear it.
The line is moving as we speak. If you want to get involved on LSU, I would do it sooner rather than later. Let's talk about the Tigers and the Bruins. LSU, UCLA, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. This game, a national TV affair on ABC on Saturday, 3:45 Eastern, 12:45 Pacific. And the LSU's minus 23s, they've been wiped out. I'm seeing 23.5s, and the 24s are starting to pop. Total sitting 56.5 at the open. We're seeing a little bit of under money. 56 now, even 55.5s starting to pop. And let me make this very clear. If you haven't noticed it already, UCLA is as bet against as it gets. All right. To say that Chip Kelly did not leave the cupboard full for first-time head coach Deshaun Foster is putting it mildly. Okay. The last couple of years, from multiple reports, and particularly the final season that Kelly was there, he was collecting a paycheck. And then he walked away and left the program in something of disarray. All right. And of course, he's walking away to be a coordinator somewhere else. That's not a good sign for the program. All right, 2 games this year. First game against a bad Hawaii team. They're lucky to win, let alone win by margin. The offense couldn't move the football against Hawaii. Last week against Indiana, blown off the field. Secondary is all kinds of question marks. Offense is all kinds of question marks. Don't love the quarterback play. They had 2 weeks to prep for Indiana. They were +3. It's not like they weren't supposed to be able to compete. And they were never in the game. 238 total yards of offense versus Indiana's defense. Indiana had 14 penalties. This is a fade team, plain and simple. The only punt the defense forced last week was on the final play of the game. I'll talk about LSU in just a minute. First, I want to let you know you can take $100 off right now any college football / NFL season pass. Real simple. Get on board for a package. Ride with me or any of the cappers at WagerTalk.com. Use promo code FBALL100 at checkout. Again, FBALL100, football 100, FBALL100. Take $100 off any CFB / NFL combo season pass. So we're getting a buy low on LSU. They're 0-3 against the spread. They're 0-2 against FBS school. The offense failed them week 1. The defense failed them last week against South Carolina. They got 243 rushing yards in that ball game. Too bad UCLA can't run. All right, Garrett Nussmeier is fine. 70% completions. He's averaging 300 yards a game. He's got a 10-2 touchdown interception ratio. There is a class difference here between these teams. LSU is faster, stronger, better. And this is one game where LSU is interested in running it up. All right, against a former Pac-12 foe, Brian Kelly. And the fact that LSU's been in these tight games, found a way to lose one, found a way to win one. Up next, they have South Alabama, then a bye week. It's full focus time for the LSU Tigers. UCLA, they got Oregon at home next week. Maybe they shut it down early if they're getting bombed, like I suspect they will be. If I'm playing, I'm laying. The markets agree. LSU right now, before this line moves any further. Agree? Disagree? Give me a comment below. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the follows. Lawrence, back to you.
Teddy freaking covers. LSU, everyone. Big favorite. Total blowout. Good luck, my friend. Dave Mason joining us Monday today. Starting next week, Dave will be on every Friday. Excited to have you with us, Dave. Let's start right off the bat with Monday Night Football, and then we're going to do a recap of how last week went. So Monday Night Football tonight, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What do you like? Etc., etc.
Yeah, how you guys doing? Hope you had a good weekend. Decent weekend for the house. Philadelphia tonight, currently laying 5.5 at home. The bettors are all over Philadelphia. 73% of cash is on Philly. That opened 4.5 and 48. So currently we have 5.5 and 45.5. 67% of the cash is on the under. We did take some sharp action on the Falcons at plus 6.5. So yeah, looking like we're going to be big Falcons fans tonight.
Is this a legit sharp square divide game, Dave? And of course, you can follow Dave on Twitter at Dave Mason BOL from betonline.ag. But it feels like, at least from my perspective, it feels like the Joes are laying with Philly and the pros are betting Atlanta plus the points. Are you seeing that from your end as well?
Yeah, I mean that's how it's looking right now. I mean, like I said, we have heavy cash on Philadelphia. Let me see the bet counts here, and we took some sharp action on the Falcons at plus 6.5. So yeah, we're gonna need, we and the sharps are gonna need the Falcons tonight. Let me look at the bet count here too, because that's sometimes, yeah, I mean shoot. The bet count is doing some quick math. About 80% of bettors are on the Eagles. So like I said, 73% of cash and about almost 80% of bettors are on the Eagles.
And you talked about that under money. I mean, you BOL opened 48.5 for this total. Now I'm seeing 45.5. There's even some 45 starting to pop up. Look at the WagerTalk free live odds screen. Is that pros? Is that Joes? Is that both? Talk about the total for tonight's game and all the under money that's poured in.
Yeah, let me see there. You're on the sharp action there. Yeah, it looks like a little bit was on the under. Yeah, we took some under 46.5 and under 46. So any of the not a ton of sharp action on the total, but the sharp action we have taken is definitely on the under.
So you said you had a decent weekend. Was Saturday better? Was Sunday better? It feels like with all the upsets yesterday, you guys probably should have had a pretty good day.
Yeah, I kind of, it was a very good day. You know, I was kind of underselling how well we did. College was good. NFL was, I mean, just when all those darn upsets, I mean, you know, it's, you know, I always tweet out the splits, and unless it's a primetime game, I really never mention the parlay and the teaser needs for the house. But I mean, it was crazy. It's all those upsets. I mean, especially I said last week, I think it's going to be a big teaser weekend. And, you know, once you have all those 6-point spreads, 6.5-point spreads, 7-point spreads, everybody's teasing those down and everybody's hooking those teams up on money line parlays. So, you know, week one, the Bengals killed money line parlays and teasers. And then, you know, yesterday, shoot, so many teams killed those money line parlays and teasers. You know, the Cowboys losing, that was huge, one after the other. I mean, those early games are something else. So yeah, even the Ravens as 9-point favorites, them losing outright just killed money line parlays and some teasers, not a ton of teaser, but yeah, yesterday was great. No complaints.
And that's something that casual bettors oftentimes don't recognize or don't realize. They're like, well, the public's on this, the public's on that, the public's on the other. The books don't need the public to lose all of those games. They just need one of them. Where you can, they call it the teaser killer or the parlay killer. Is that the correct? Like one game every week? As long as they lose one of them, you'll be okay. It's not going to be a disaster.
Yeah, it depends on the week, but you need more than them. But sometimes it's like I said. I mean, those money line parlays and those teasers are just, especially when you have those teams at that 6 point. If you don't have a lot of teams at that 6 point spread, 6.5, 7.5 points, then the teasers aren't as important that weekend. But when you have numerous games, I mean, there's more action on these teasers and money line parlays than there are the straight bets on the spread. So like I said, I always tweet out the needs for the straight bets, but that only tells, like, a guy called me out, I think last week. He's like, well, look at your needs. It doesn't seem like you guys did that great. And I was like, well, I'm not talking about in those needs are Cincinnati losing outright. I mean, that just killed so many money line parlays and teasers more people are just betting those than the straight bets. So yeah, go ahead.
And Dave, I'm one of those guys. I mean, I started betting teasers more and more over the last few years. My teasers this week were terrible. Baltimore let me down. Dallas let me down. Detroit let me down.
Yep.
Yeah, but and unbelievable. And I don't know if this has ever happened before, but like in the Circa Survivor, the two top plays, Cincy last week, Baltimore this. I mean, that's 60% of the pool out. Unbelievable. Listen, real quick, Dave, because we do have only 3 minutes left. We have a hard out today. Teddy's got a show coming up at 1:00, opening line report. One of the best shows you'll ever hear in your life. Really recommend you guys watch that. Real quick, prop bets are getting bigger and bigger by the day, by the year. Is there any that you've taken for tonight's game that we should know about?
No, absolutely. I really don't bet a lot of props, to tell you the truth, man. I try not to overcomplicate it, and I really don't dig into it. I mean, but you're right. I mean, props are just absolutely through the roof. I've always been a props guy as far as a marketer. It's so helpful marketing, and just seeing the last few years with all the same game parlays and stuff. The old days are gone where the guys are just slaving away, putting props in the regular sports book. Now we have all this third party prop providers and everything. So long answer to your question. I don't have anything personal, but there's so many options now. It's great. Props are just a whole nother beast.
So Dave, we're getting you on Monday this week. Moving forward, we'll have you later in the week, so we'll have more info on who the early monies come in on. But at least for the week 3 NFL card / week 4 college football card, anything stand out in terms of very early action, Sunday night / Monday morning? Who are the wise guys pounding in early week play?
Yeah, I mean, this early in the week, you said it, that you got to kind of take the sharp action and the public action with a little grain of salt, because, as the limits increase throughout the week, a lot more action comes in, and the sharper stuff comes in. But some sharp stuff we've seen. Let's see here. Ravens pick now -1.5 versus Dallas. Cards +3.5 now +3. Panthers.
They're never going to give up on that.
Baltimore, Dallas over 47, now 47.5. So, it's lopsided bets. I mean, shoot, Tampa Bay, they're getting pounded versus the Broncos. No one's betting the Broncos. Browns versus Giants, that's getting bet. So, but again, Monday, it's just, it's a work in progress. So that all could change throughout the week.
Dave Mason, everyone. Dave, can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to join us. Any big promotions going on at Bet Online that we need to know about?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you said it earlier about Survivor. We have that $591,000 Survivor pool, and I think 68% of our entries to start the season have already been knocked out. So it's just absolute carnage. But we have a second chance Survivor pool. Registration starts this week. going to be $150,000 prize pool and no rake. So we'll add on to it if we collect more. Sign up for just $30. You can enter this $150,000 second chance survivor pool. My survivor pool has been done too, like so many others. So I'm going to be out there looking for another opportunity somewhere, man.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know. Dave Mason, everyone. What a great show, Teddy. I thought you were excellent today. Shout out to both Bryans and Dave and their parents for some original names. Teddy covers. It's your opening line report in 14 minutes. Take us home, my brother.
And you complimented me. Why, thank you, Lawrence. And thank you, our viewing audience, for watching today's show. As you mentioned, stay tuned for the NFL opening line report, myself and Drew Martin, at the top of the hour. And of course, we'll be back with another edition of Wager Talk Today. Same time, same channel, tomorrow. Between now and that show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your bets.